Welcome back to our coverage of the Tiger Victory Parade. We're going to take some shots right now just to find out where the parade is.
Where are these guys anyway?
We can see the Bless You Boys signature or billboard that just about everybody in this metro area signed. I guess they're going to give that to the Tigers after it's all over. And there you see it now. Our own Al Ackerman came up with that slogan, Bless You Boys, after every win for the Tigers this year.
And it has certainly spread a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, we can see they're still on Michigan Avenue, so it's going to take them a while to get to their final destination, which is Kennedy Square. But you can see the crowd is very orderly. We see the mounted police leading the parade, so to speak. And
yes, this is good. We didn't have this parade the other night, isn't it?
But the weather was not conducive, I don't think.
The weather, and I think
the crowd wasn't quite ready for it.
Yes, the collective consciousness of the crowd might not have been ready for it. Well, we're going to see if we can look into some of these cars here carrying the Tigers and see if we can recognize anybody.
Yeah, we've seen Sparky Anderson already in Monaghan.
That looks like Alan Trammell, the series MVP from the back. Maybe this is pretty close contact to the people. Alan doesn't seem to be panicking too much, though. What a great season for him. He's one of the few Tigers who really had one of his better years. A lot of the Tigers didn't have their very best seasons. They just did it collectively, really.
Do you think they realize how much that the fans really care for them?
I think they do. It's hard not to when you see it happening. Sometimes you wonder how personally involved the fans become. After all, they don't get the hits and the RBIs, but it's a thing of sharing, and I think the players, especially the mature players in the Tigers, realize that the fans are the meal ticket. If the fans don't like this game, then these guys don't make a living, because after all, they're just playing a game. But Tiger fans are a special breed, so they say. I was pretty impressed, I must say, with the fans in San Diego, but the tradition here and the support of the Tigers year in, year out, whether they have a good team or not, is a major difference between the fan support in other cities.
There's one word for it. They call it loyal.
Loyalty.
And that's
and
devotion.
I think tradition plays a part in it, too. You have a team like San Diego's only been around for 15 years. The Tigers go way back to when we were all little kids and our parents and beyond that. So the collective tradition, I think, adds to the fandom also. But it's amazing how it passes down. You know, I think Major League Baseball's expression, baseball fever, it lasts a lifetime, is very, very true. Because at all these World Series games, typical of baseball, kids from 5 to people barely old enough to make it there.
There's the cement tractor that someone was talking about with the Bless Your Boys slogan on the side. It's not rotating.
That's right, the way Rich was describing it, I figured it was mixing some cement on the way someplace.
You know, that has really caught on. I mean, everybody is saying Bless You Boys.
I think it was gratifying, too, for Al, and I think a lot of people here to see the network pick up on it, and it's really become a national phrase. The Tigers have now become a national team. You know, that's one of the thrill of it, the big thrills of this, is that not only are they ours, but now everybody knows, and it's been great exposure and a great feeling of pride for the people in Detroit, because we feel part of the team, like it's for us to go out and win those games.
That's right. There are 3 bands that are taking part in this parade tonight. We've seen, or here I go again, this afternoon.
The studio is the same atmosphere all the time, you have to realize, whether it's
but I'm looking at afternoon pictures.
It's very hard to tell the difference.
We've seen Central High School's band. Novi High School's band is also taking part in this parade, and I think maybe Wayne State University's band. That shot right there, I'm not really sure just which band that was, but we see a car wash. Is that along, that's still Michigan Avenue?
I've only been down Michigan Avenue about 6,000 times, and I don't recall that car wash. But it's a free advertisement anyway.
But just judging from the crowd, there are a lot of people downtown for this
parade. I'm surprised that there are this
few people played hooky from work, maybe from school.
I would imagine.
Just to welcome their Tigers.
Well, this still looks like Michigan Avenue, yes. And through 500,000, did I hear crowd estimates were?
Well, you know, I'm not surprised. Now, this parade is going to take at least 45 minutes before they finally reach Kennedy Square. As you can see, they're moving kind of slow, and they want to make sure that every fan gets a chance to see his favorite Tiger.
Well, if it's 500,000 people, that's 10 times Tiger Stadium out there on the streets. Okay. And as they're moving, I guess, down Michigan. Now, where's the first turn, Carmen, again? They're going to take it down Michigan to Washington Boulevard, and then
our Mort Krim is standing by at Kennedy Square. We're going to go over to Mort to find out what's going on there. Mort?
I think Mort is lining up somebody, is what I was told.
Okay.
He's looking for Mayor Young, who may have a few people chewing on his ear at the time. So Mort's trying to get in there and give us a chance to hear what the mayor has to say. I'm sure he's going to say he's very proud of the Tigers, et cetera, et cetera.
As we all are.
Maybe he can put in perspective some of what's happened in the last week, because really, you really have to look for perspective when you see the tremendous response and how affected everybody is by this.
You know, I'm really surprised that people are actually following the parade instead of just standing in their location and letting it go by. But they're actually following this parade.
Well, you
from
want to last on it for a while, you know. If you just okay, I think Mort has found the mayor now. Carmen, let's see. Mort, do you have his honor indeed or not?
Mayor Young with me. He's a little bit busy signing autographs right now, signing Tiger pennants and baseballs and programs, but if I can interrupt him for just a second. Mr. Mayor, a lot of people have made much of the deeper significance of this Tiger win in terms of what it means to a city that has been fighting very hard to come back. How do you see it?
Well, I think that it does mean more because this city has not only been fighting to come back, but the Tigers are back, and so is the city of Detroit, and that victory proved it.
How do you think we're going to translate all of this enthusiasm and good feeling? And, I mean, this event really has brought suburb and city together, something that you have been calling for many, many years. How do we keep that going?
Well, I think it demonstrates to everybody, both in the city and out of the city, that we can do a hell of a lot more by pulling together than we can by pulling apart. It demonstrates the basic reservoir of goodwill that is there that we can all use to our mutual advantage. And that's the feeling you get here. I think it's clear that this city has a strength and this area has a strength that is multiplied when we pull together. And we're doing that today.
It's done a lot to bring people into the city, too. Do you think we can keep that momentum going?
Of course, and I think that the city is for everyone. We all enjoy the city. It's the central part of a very important area in this country. And I hope that those who've been visiting during the World Series, during the Tiger season, during the playoffs, will continue to visit. We'll continue to welcome you.
I got to ask you a personal question, Mr. Mayor. You've been signing autographs for all these kids and adults who've been coming up. Are you going to try to get autographs of the team?
Yes, I have a few already.
Do you?
I was down in Lakeland in spring training and have most of the team on a baseball, which I consider to be very significant. I'm an eternal optimist. And I knew in the spring they were going to win, but hell, I knew that last year, year before, too. This year I was right.
This time you were right on the mark. Thank you. Mayor Coleman Young, our guest, one of many, many dignitaries who is here. In fact, it seems like everybody and his brother and cousin and wife and uncle are all out here today to welcome the Tigers to this big World Series victory celebration here in Kennedy Square. And we'll be back to talk to more of them as the parade gets closer. Now back to you.
All right, and thank you, Mort. And of course, we got a chance to hear from the mayor. We didn't find out, though, what he did with that case of wine that he bet with the San Diego mayor. I know he said he was going to give up a case of Stroh's if the Tigers lost, but they didn't.
I got to tell a story. This is no knock on Stroh's or anything, but Game 1 of the World Series, we're watching, and one of those helicopters comes flying over, and it says, "Stroh's, go get 'em, Padres."
No. Oh, they'll wish they had.
We said, I wonder if they're going to catch a shot of that. Anyway, it is a national beer right now, although we do own Stroh's.
Well, we've got another view of the parade as it's proceeding down Michigan Avenue to Washington Boulevard, and we really don't have an idea who's in
I got
which
a feeling,
car, but
I think that's the Monaghan Fetzer car would be in front, and it would be Bill Campbell and Jim Campbell and Bill LaJoy would be in the second car. Third car, I see looks like Harwell and Carey, and maybe Kellen Kaline would be in that fourth car there. Okay. Tough to really tell from this angle, but it seems like the police have gotten the people to move a little bit farther away. It's true, it did seem to be a little close quarters there when we saw Alan travel, and it's just too many hands to pump. Too many people right there in the car for you. It would become a little claustrophobic, a little uncomfortable. So it's good to see the people are giving the dignitaries, as we say, or the players, I don't know if we're going to call the players dignitaries, giving them a little room to breathe at least as the parade moves further down Michigan and towards its ultimate location.
Now we're seeing them make this turn here.
So this would
proceed to Washington Boulevard.
So
they're a little closer now to their final destination, which is Kennedy Square this afternoon. The crowd is orderly. I think you can say that they're orderly. Even when they came up to the cars and wanted to shake the players' hands, I'm sure that made them maybe somewhat a little nervous.
You know, within the stadium, it never really got that out of hand. The police really did a great job, I think, through all the three celebrations, the pennant clinching and the playoffs.
There's no real way to prepare for that, you know?
The way to
It had
prepare
been
was
16 years since we had
the way to prepare
World
was to
Series
send a
game.
lot of people out there, and I think the police showed remarkable restraint and really did a great job. There you see the lead car
That's a better shot of Monaghan.
in that shocking green jacket, along with John Fetzer, who was dressed far more conservatively, just past the Campbell LaJoy car.
see
And
some
right
fans
there,
who have joined them.
that's Ernie Harwell on the right. Ernie Harwell, one of the most popular men around town, and deservedly so, a great broadcaster, play-by-play man, and one of the nicest guys in our business, I can honestly tell you that. And here are two sweethearts, if ever existed, George Kell and Al Kaline, Hall of Famers who analyzed Tiger baseball far deeper than any of us non-players ever could. And these guys, I tell you, they remain heroes as they were during their playing days.
The crowd certainly has responded to them
Yes.
as that. And this is another angle, and you get a chance to see one of the high school bands here behind the police escort, the mounted police escort. It looks like Central High School band. And this has got to be a proud day for them. You know,
That's
they
right.
got a chance to perform for the Mondale and Ferraro.
Here's Sparky's car. I don't know who Sparky's with. He's just kind of with a bodyguard there, but Sparky has a position of his own there in a car by himself, and certainly he stands atop the baseball world, recognized now as one of the great managers ever in the game, not just in this era. He has gone above what he did in Cincinnati, which alone would have made him one of history's best. And now to have done it in 2 leagues, the only man to win a World Series in both leagues with two radically different style teams. Sparky is truly on top of the earth. The only thing that he would have wished to make it perfect was that his father could have been with him. His father died early in the season, back in April or May, and fortunately he did get to see young Sparky, or George as he was back then, still succeed wildly as a major league manager. Just played 1 year of baseball, you know, Sparky.
that all?
218 in 1959, and he has surrounded himself with some of the other great utility infielders of all time. Dick Trasuski, one of his coaches, Billy Consolo, guys that he goes way, way back with. And I think on Sparky's mind right here as he says hello to the people, it's hard for him to not think about the thought that he might lose Roger Craig, the pitching coach who really is credited almost 50-50 with helping Sparky manage this team.
And that's just another shot of the Central High School band that...
Well, you got sharp eyes, Carmen. I couldn't tell Central between any of the other two.
You know, I was going to tell you,
I
they
have to.
performed for the Mondale Ferraro Rally at Kennedy Square this year, so they've had a pretty exciting year as far as being in parades or performing for the public, and they're getting a chance to do that again right here for the Tiger Victory Parade, and I guess they feel like celebrities in a way.
That's right. Here's a guy on the left, Dick Trasuski, who is, as a player in '68, as a coach when they won the division in '72, and now as a coach still in 1984. Very, very proud to be a part of it. First base coach of the Tigers.
Just want to remind you there's nothing wrong with your sets. It's a little overcast outside, and the fog is still lingering over the city of Detroit, but I don't think that's going to dampen any of the spirits of the Tiger fans that have lined up to watch this parade and to get a closer glimpse of their heroes today.
They got red gloves on the outside hand. I wonder if that's...
Take off from Michael Jackson?
I don't know about that. Maybe just from, so they don't get calluses from pumping hands all day long.
bet.
So Billy Consolo, that guy on the right, Sparky's oldest and dearest friend in baseball, kind of the court jester of the Tigers, a very popular guy who they all kind of goof on a little bit, but Billy takes it good-naturedly and adds his expertise to the overall picture.
So we have our cameras stationed all along the parade route here.
Here's a pair of Cowboys, Carmen. Roger Craig on the left and Gates Brown on the right.
Talk about my eyes being good. Your eyes are pretty good, too.
Well, I'd spot Roger's hat any place. He's thinking about retiring, and really, although they like to have him back, to ride off into the sunset, so to speak, after a great season like this, and what he did with the pitching staff would be certainly a high note to retire on. Bill Beam on the left, longtime Tiger trainer, Pio DeSalvo in the middle, and Jim Schmackel, who was the clubhouse man. And I'll tell you one thing, he doesn't get much recognition, but nobody works harder than that guy on the right. Believe me, what he puts up with, it's a tough job.
There he is again.
Pio DeSalvo, who rose through the ranks, he was a Tiger trainer at Evansville, finally made it to the big leagues around '77, a real expert in sports medicine and dealing with all those injuries. And believe me, the Tigers know what kind of contribution he does to keep them healthy, keep those muscles, bones, and everything in shape.
You notice how they're just standing, they're waiting, I guess, and probably trying to just take all of this in, you know, and probably asking themselves, is this real? Are we really living through this?
Well, these guys worked hard. I think it's real, and I think they know it's real, and they appreciate it down to its core, because these guys here don't get the recognition. These are people who the fans are probably saying, gee, who's that guy on the left, and who's the portly guy in the middle, and who's the skinny guy on the right? But they are a very integral part of the Tiger organization that encompasses so many more people than just the 25 guys.
Well, you know, I think if you put a Tiger hat on and you happen to be around the downtown area or anywhere along the parade route, you're going to be right in with the theme of today, and that's Tiger Mania.
Yeah, let's see. They're still going on Washington Boulevard. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And they should be making the turn on the Congress pretty soon. Let's see if I couldn't spot who was. Those were not familiar tops of heads right there. To me.
No, I think we should.
Okay, we'll come back with more Tigers Victory Parade. Let's take a short break first. Rich Make, I must say, although not one of our sports reporters, I've never seen anybody work harder to get the job done as we cover the playoffs in the World Series. How many thousands of fans and stories did he do? To the hardest working man in show business.
Why don't we find out what he's doing right now, Rich? You were at Woodward in Congress, they tell us.
That's right. I'm going to get you as my agent, Eli. You know that? We are out here with, I'll tell you, there are thousands of folks down here at this intersection. These are the Valvanos from Troy who came down here today to see this thing. Mary Kay, how big a Tiger fan are you folks?
Oh, well, we aren't from Detroit. We move around, but since we've moved here, we are the Detroit fans, especially that one up there.
This one up here?
Yeah.
What's your name, honey?
Abby.
Who's your favorite player on the Tigers? You have one?
I can't remember his name.
Marty. You can't. Marty Castillo?
Yep.
There you go, Marty Castillo fan. What do you think about this team this year, Bruce?
Well, this is a moment that, you just cherish it all your life. We waited a long time to live in the city with Champion, and, we've moved around the country a bit, and we've kind of adopted them as our own.
Well, that's terrific.
Kind of gets you right here.
It certainly does. Where are you originally from?
Well, originally from New Jersey and Maryland. Mary Kay's from Maryland, I'm from Jersey.
Okay, well, see that? You don't even have to be from Detroit all your lives to love the Tigers, do you? I think that is for sure. Look at this one here. Do I have time to ask him if he's got a favorite player? I'm going to ask you, what's your name?
Nick.
Do you have a favorite player on the Tigers? No? Uh-huh. Okay, no favorite player. That'll change by next season, I guarantee you. They're having a great time. We're going to go back to the studio right now. Eli?
All right, thank you, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
You know, you were talking about how hard Rich worked, but Rich follows baseball. You know,
Yes, he
I've worked
does.
with him, and he really knows, you know, like the batter's average and which team is doing what.
And he'll
So
admit,
was
he
a labor
started out
of
as a Philly fan. I started out as a New York Met fan, but we have adopted the Tigers, too.
Have you? I started out as a Tiger fan. I want everybody to know that right now. Here we are along the parade route again, and it looks like it's going up Washington Boulevard, and I think there are 28 vehicles in this parade, Eli, and after the big bands, you're going to see your favorite Tiger. I think 2 of them in each car, and Gibson may be the first one. We're going to find out shortly.
Yeah, I think
but,
he's the leadoff man. There he is.
Signing autographs.
Already working on
signing T-shirts.
Already working on that beard for the off season. He's going to go hunting and try and relax. There's the cover of the Free Press the day after. What a picture that was, I'll tell you. Gibson with his arms raised as the Tigers routed the Padres really in the last game.
Yeah.
Got a chance to show America that they are a dominant team too. They kind of scraped by, winning the first 3 games, but to win the big one in that fashion, Gibson a hero for our time for sure. And there's Sparky again. Let's see if we can pick up.
And who is?
This looks like Johnny Grubb,
and
another
his
one of the.
family, yeah.
Yes, and his family there, right? Johnny, one of the classic role players on this team. A guy who only got up a couple of 100 times, but each time seemed to come through when he had to. There's Dave Rozema. He, too, not a chance to participate that much down the stretch, but a guy who reveled in the victory and certainly worked hard for many years to be in this position. He is the Tiger, believe it or not, longest in terms of service. He came up in 1977, and no Tigers go back any further than that. So Rozema seeing many years of Tiger play finally come to fruition, and he, too, signing autographs for his many, many fans.
And as you can see, the crowd is very orderly, and they're trying to get the autographs and trying to...
The players are complying pretty well. That's Dwight Lowry on the left and Larry Herndon on the right. Larry in part of his cowboy get-up garb. He certainly is one of many Tigers that dresses country western style, and although he is shy and quiet with the media glare on, he's obviously being very friendly to the people who he appreciates the support.
Detroit loves the country boys.
That's right. There are plenty of them on this team. Howard Johnson and his wife Kim, Hojo, we're told, is going to be the starting third baseman next year. Kind of a strange scenario because he didn't play much down the stretch. With Rupert Jones, this looks like. I can't tell through the hat, but I believe that would be Rupert Jones.
We hope the fans will...
There, Rusty Kuntz. Rusty, I'm just happy to be here. Kuntz, who hit the shortest winning sacrifice fly in World Series history the other day, about 140 feet. Senor Smoke and his wife Maria, Aurelio Lopez. So thrilled was he to pitch that 2 1/3 innings of scoreless ball in Game 5, struck out 4 batters. Jack Morris, yes, he won 2 games in the World Series. Could have easily been the MVP, along with Alan Trammell. Jack, having accomplished so much, really wanted this series ring. And Dan Petrie,
and his wife
Chris, yes. Dan signing a few autographs, of course. With a great season he had, a little disappointing that 2 of his starts weren't what he would have liked them to be. What a great season he had. That's Bill Scherer, one of the newest Tigers, picked up from Cincinnati in mid-season.
Looks like we're going to see them all,
series.
too.
And here's the MVP again, Alan and his wife Barbara. I don't think he's driving his new Trans Am, but he's added that to his fleet, no doubt. Good question. I don't know. I give up right here.
It's a little hard to see just who this is, but he has his wife in the car too. And, you know, I think we should mention too, Eli, that not only were the Tigers champions on the field, but there were a few Tigers who scored in the delivery room. We had a baby born to the Parishes. Was that Milt Wilcox?
Yeah,
that we just saw? Well, Ashley Parrish was born last Thursday. Lou Whitaker had a daughter who was born.
Sarah, that's right.
Sarah Whitaker,
that's
and
his second.
Marty Castillo's daughter or son has yet to.
On the way, hang in there, Julie.
Is that her name?
Believe it or not, it eventually happens, even though it doesn't feel like that. At this
maybe
point,
next
right?
year. Yeah, sometimes it happens that way. But these are real family people.
Yes, you know, I tell you, baseball players tend to get married young. I think if you were to spot a trend, it's a lonely life out there, traveling from city to city, town to town, and they really seem to like to establish roots with a family as early as possible. Let's see who we zooming in on right here. That looks like
our own Al
sportscaster
Ackerman.
emeritus Al Ackerman.
Oh, bless you, Al. The father, I guess you could say, of Bless You Boys.
That's right, the creator.
That's right. That slogan is going to take its place in history here in Detroit. Sparky's already put it on his book. Al's probably writing it on some of the pennants that he's signing right now.
Well, I'll tell you, look at this.
There's no
confetti.
way they could keep the crowds from just trying to shake the hands and get the autographs of their heroes today.
A crowd out to a door, not to do it much more than that. Early in the day, so yes, there are no rowdies out at this point. If there are, then they're in some deep trouble, I'll tell you that.
So.
You see some people running alongside to keep up with it.
You know, as we mentioned, there are 28 cars in this parade. It's going to take at least 30 minutes for them to reach Kennedy Square, where there are even more fans on hand to take part in this parade and rally for the Tigers, an official Bless You Boys rally for our favorite heroes in baseball, the 84 Tigers.
Some of them will be speaking when I get there, and our Tiger paws, I guess that's what those gloves they're wearing are. Okay, and as the parade moves along, I think Mort has got another very
Dignitary?
special person lined up.
The governor of Michigan, Mort.
Yes, Carmen, we'd have to list him as one of the #1 fans of the Tigers here in the state of Michigan, Governor Blanchard. How's it going today?
Well, it's great, as you can see. Great crowd, a wonderful celebration, not only for Detroit, but the entire state. This is a sports state. People love baseball. They follow it. They're loyal even when the Tigers lose.
That's about as friendly a crowd as you're ever going to shake hands with.
Yes, although, as you know, sports crowds can be rowdy, but they are friendly. They are very peaceful. They are orderly. They are happy. They are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They are loyal fans. And their battle cry is "Bless You, boys."
What does this World Series victory mean to the state of Michigan long term?
Well, as I said, this is a sports state. It helps lift the spirit of our fans. We are very loyal to sports, both spectator, Lions, Tigers, U of M, Michigan State, as well as we play sports. A lot of hunters, fishermen, golfers, everything. And so to have a winner, it keeps the spirit alive. It rekindles the spirit. It's also good for business in the Detroit area, as you know. But it reestablishes our state as a state of champions.
Well, this victory celebration has sure packed them into the downtown today.
It sure has. And I'll tell you something, there's some litter that'll have to get picked up because people are having fun, but the merchants are going to make a lot of money. But the important thing is the loyal fans of our state, really from Marquette to Monroe, from Kalamazoo to East Detroit, are here celebrating the world champions.
Well, everybody's blessing the boys today, and it looks like the parade is getting closer. I know you need to make your way up on the stage.
Yes, I do.
Thanks
Bless
for
you,
taking
boys.
time to
All
talk.
right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mort.
Governor Blanchard.
Thanks to Channel 4 for being the loyal advocates of the Tigers all year. It's important to the state, important to the city, and your sportscasters and announcers and you, Mort, have been a great help too.
We are the #1 cheerleaders.
You sure
Absolutely.
are. Thank you.
Thanks, Governor. All right, we're going to be back with more coverage of the parade as it gets here. How close are they now to Kennedy Square? Just 1 block away. Okay, Carmen and Eli will be back as the parade and the team arrives to receive their due, the big honors for the 1984 World Series champions. Back
All
to
right.
you.
Thank you, Mort. And we'll be back with our coverage of the Tiger Victory Parade as it gets closer to Kennedy Square right after this.
Carmen, Mort really asked the governor the key question, what does the Tiger victory mean to Michigan? I was very curious to see what he had to say, and I think he tried to imply that it lifts people's spirits, makes you feel more positive about yourself being a part of this. We really can't put a value on that intangible good feeling.
And it was statewide, you know, it's not just, you don't have to be a Detroiter to believe in the Tigers.
It's all over the
take
place.
Into this. But the parade is continuing. It's a little closer to Kennedy Square. Rich Make is standing by live on Woodward and Congress. And Rich, what do you see from there?
I don't know. I'm going to ask some folks. How do you feel about this thing today?
They're great. I know.
You a big Tiger fan?
Yeah.
You think they were going to win it this
Yes.
year?
Yeah, we're number one. Number one.
Yes,
sure?
We're number one.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in school right now?
No, we let out.
There you go. Okay.
Here we go.
All right, the kids are out. The kids are out early. You got a big crowd down here. They're having a terrific time. Most of the parade is yet to come through this intersection. We'll go back to you.
Does this mean that we get to go home after this? Or is this a day off? I didn't know this was a national holiday.
Well, some of the kids said that they were let out of school for this, and I guess the teachers realize and the administrators realize that they can't really concentrate on books and things like that, especially when the Tigers are in town and they're going to get a chance to see their favorite Tigers live and in person today in this parade. And some of them they've already seen. Some of them you're going to get a chance to see when we get our close-up cameras in gear. And
what is that stuff floating down? Is this at all?
I'm sure that's
I know
paper.
it's paper of
Yes,
some sort, the same size pieces.
Everybody along the parade route and office buildings are giving what they feel is a little Tiger cheer, and they're sailing it out of the window as we speak.
And there are our favorite guys, George Kell and Al Kaline, a pair of princes if ever existed, let me tell you. Everywhere they go, people are just thrilled to meet George and Al, who do such a great job broadcasting the games. I know I sound like I'm trying to sell the station, but I have really learned to believe in these guys and just trust what they have to say and what they know about baseball. So we're getting a little bit closer to the ultimate destination.
As you can see, they're making that turn along Woodward Avenue, about a block away from Kennedy Square, and where they will all be descending upon Kennedy Square for a rally.
You see that, the Tiger with the dead Padre under his feet? That's a graphic illustration of what happened in the World Series, I'll tell you that.
I see some fans have decided to join the parade here, and so far they've been pretty orderly. Excited but orderly.
Let's see what we got here from the aerial view. Pretty foggy today. It was supposed to clear up. I guess it has cleared up somewhat. A little worse before.
I think the smiles on the faces of the fans and of the Tigers are going to provide the sunshine for this parade today. It's moving a little slow simply because fans are trying to get autographs and shake the hands of some of the Tiger players. And
Hey, Liz.
Dear family, that was our own Rich Make.
Calling for our producer.
It was calling for the producer or another fan. He's been at the corner of Woodward and Congress talking to fans who are not only from Detroit, but just about all over the metro area. Some have even come outside of the metro area to take part in this parade this afternoon.
Yes, and Rich asked a very rhetorical question. Did you think the Tigers are going to win? Who would ever admit at this point that they didn't think the Tigers are going to win it this year? My question is, can they win it next year? I think they got a pretty good shot at winning it next year. I don't think there'll be too many changes.
The team stays the same.
Well, yes, you know, there is always that emotional letdown. Players come back the next spring and say, I got to really bear down and try and play as hard as I can because to fight this emotional letdown. And yet, except for the Yankees repeating in 77 and 78 when they had great players like Reggie Jackson, etc. At the time, great players like Reggie Jackson, they did it. But other than that, it's just it's different teams every year. That hunger seems to leave, and the Tiger players are trying very hard and will this winter not to take it easy, not to hit the banquet circuit too much. Eat too much banquet food, you're in trouble no matter what your business is.
You know, I'm sure some of the viewers at home are just wondering how many people turned out for this parade today, and we've had estimates of, what, 500,000 people in the downtown area for the parade.
There's George arriving.
It's quite a crowd.
Arriving, I guess, at...
They're getting closer now, as you can see here.
And I think Mort Krim has found probably the happiest man in the state of Michigan, a guy who certainly, through his own hard work, was able to buy a pretty fancy purchase. Tom Monaghan, is that who you have?
Right, Eli and Carmen, and he has just acknowledged this crowd. He was just introduced by Dick Burton. Tom Monaghan, as Eli said, you've got to be about the happiest man in the state of Michigan right now.
Well, if I'm not, something's wrong with me. I certainly am happy. Hi, Susie.
Sure beats selling pizza, doesn't it?
There's my daughters, Susie and Maggie.
How are you? The Monaghan children, how are you?
Good.
How do you feel about your dad owning this fantastic team?
Great. We haven't missed too many games this year.
How come you're not in school?
I wanted to go to school, but after this, I'm glad I came.
Well, I'll tell you, you're in good company because I think all of the schools in the city of Detroit must have let out for this fantastic occasion today.
Sure looks like it. It's I've never seen so many smiling faces in my life. This is the closest thing I've ever seen to heaven. So many smiling faces. It's just fantastic.
It's almost the kind of an event you can't put into words. You just have to let the sound and the fury tell it all.
That's right. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's unbelievable.
Tom, what does it feel like to see these boys, your boys, coming up here in these cars to receive this honor today?
It just it feels like $1 million. It's, we got to do it again next year.
We're counting on it. No reason why we shouldn't.
That's right.
Thank you so much. I know you've got business to take care of over here, so I'll let you get back to the group of dignitaries waiting for you. The governor, Mr. Fetzer's here, Jim Campbell, Mayor Young, Carl Levin, they're all up here to say thank you, boys.
I can't believe it. I'm just a pizza maker. Here we got the governor and Mr. Fetzer, and I'm on TV, and I'm just a pizza maker.
Well, you're a lot more than that to the city of Detroit and to these fans. There's Al Kaline back there. What a fantastic opportunity. Okay, let's go back to you, Carmen and Eli, in the studio.
All right, thank you, Mort.
Just had a shot of Randy O'Neill there, a Tiger who may figure prominently in their plans next year. Interesting, there are a couple of guys in the fringe. You wonder whether they're going to fit into this team or not.
Yes. We're going to go to a break right now, and we'll be back with more coverage of the parade in just a moment.
Carmen, it was nice to see that when the Padres got back home, they were greeted very enthusiastically,
crowd,
yes, by 10,000 at first in the middle of the night, then by 50,000 later, and I think Detroit would have rallied around the Tigers, too. It could have gone either way. They proved to be the better team, but it's good to see that the Padre fans didn't say, well, the heck, when you guys didn't win.
That's right. And no real losers in the World Series, but it takes something just to get there. It takes a lot to get there.
Winning the pennant is really the big thing, the way baseball is set up now with those two divisional races. Because after all, who even remembers the Kansas City Royals, right? They didn't make it in.
Well, this parade, I don't think many are going to forget, especially those who traveled downtown to take part in the Tiger Victory Parade. As you can see, that's an aerial shot of Kennedy Square and where the parade will finally end up, and the players will descend upon Kennedy Square for a noon, actually a 1 o'clock rally with the governor on hand, Tom Monaghan, the owner of the Tigers, the mayor of Detroit, our own Mort Grimm is standing by there, and I think the former owner of the Tigers, John Fetzer, will say something. Alan Trammell, the MVP of the World Series championship,
well, I'll tell you, see,
share his thoughts.
Alan Trammell, when I first met him about 7 or 8 years ago, they said, now, this kid here, they also talking about Louis. There's Lance Parrish, by the way, but I got to tell you, Lance was always a big boy.
Trammell they don't have the baby in the car.
I hope not. Trammell was the skinny little kid, and to see him really grow and emerge as a great player has been rewarding for everybody covering this team. There's Dan Petrie again. He's a native Californian, one of many Californians who have been adopted by this town and become very loyal to Detroit. And it's nice to show people from out of the state how much we can support them. And these guys have become at least honorary citizens if they don't live here all year round. But a lot more of them are staying in town in the off season than used to back in the old days. By the old days, I mean the mid-'70s when I started.
Now here you can really get an idea of what size crowd.
Doesn't half a million seem a little, I think that might be conservative.
Judging from this picture, it might be. But we've got, if people remember, on the street, in office buildings, not much work being done along the parade route in the office buildings that people have obviously gone to the windows just to get a glimpse of the parade along Washington Boulevard, Woodward Avenue, and it's going to wind up at Kennedy Square, where a whole program is
who can we expect to hear from, Carmen?
Well, the mayor of Detroit is going to speak. We've got the governor of Michigan, Governor Blanchard, Tom Monaghan, the owner of the Tigers, John Fetzer, former owner of the Tigers, and Alan Trammell. And whoever else, I guess, who wants to share in this glorious
You know, it's
moment.
interesting. You got a guy like Tom Monaghan, who was basically a reserved fellow, a shy person.
What did he say? He said, "This beats making pizza."
This beats
a very modest guy.
He said it feels like $1 million. That means it feels like 50 or 60 to most of us. But Monaghan, a very shy guy, and yet being a part of this Tiger experience, being interviewed, being talked to, being made into a star, really. You've seen his personality really emerge, at least the public side of it. And that's true with a lot of Tiger players, too. Trammell, for one, Lou Whitaker, these guys have not only emerged as ball players, but they've been able to put aside some of their shyness and really come alive as media personalities and personalities for the people. Rich Make is standing by. I can't imagine who he's going to talk to now.
Okay, Eli. We're having a little problem with camera problems. We're stuck out here at the intersection. I don't know how the parade's going to get around. We got some people here who are really city workers. What's your name?
Teresa Spraggin.
How do you feel about the Tigers?
Fantastic. Great.
You think they were going to go this far this year?
I sure did. Of course they were. They're our Tigers.
How about you, a Tiger fan?
Hey, since I was 12 years old.
You got a favorite player?
Lou Whitaker.
Lou Whitaker. Lou had a pretty good year, didn't he?
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, Chet Lemons, I love you, baby.
Chet Lemons?
That's right.
Okay. You gonna be out here cheering them on till they all get through?
Yes, I will. I gotta go back to work.
Okay. I'll tell you, they're gonna have some problems, I think, at this point, getting through this intersection. We'll throw it back to you in the studio.
I want you to go find somebody who says Sid Manji is his favorite player. Find him in that crowd. Let's do an interview.
Now there is the Tiger of them all, I guess, who was taking part in this parade. Okay, and we're going to go to a break right now. We'll be back with more parade coverage in just a minute. And our coverage of the Tiger Victory Parade is in full swing now as the parade proceeds along Woodward Avenue, hopefully closer to Kennedy Square, where it will finally culminate, and the Tigers and their fans and the dignitaries that are on hand will get a chance to share in this glorious moment.
And with 500,000 people there, I think this might be the best seat in the house right here, Carmen.
Or in your house if you tuned it down.
It was all spread out. Now that it's coming together, it might be hard to really get a good seat. I'm wondering whether the other teams in town, I think the Wings and the Pistons could have a very good winter, but to live up to what this team has done, to come up with an act to follow, is almost too much to ask. Oh, it's a challenge. It's a big challenge. Mort is standing by in Kennedy Square. Mort? We're going to you.
Yes, Mort is standing by on top of the truck because we've had to take refuge here as this crowd has literally started to fill in all around us. We did have a corridor between our position and the stage over here, but that rapidly filled in as police began to relax their barricades a little bit and let this very enthusiastic crowd really start to fill in. We asked Senator Carl Levin how many people he estimated were here. He said, well, if it were one of my campaign rallies, I would estimate it at 1.5 million. And then he laughed. Well, there are certainly thousands of people here, just a sea of faces in every direction as far as we look. People waving banners, ringing bells, tooting whistles, yelling, singing, cheering, bless you boys. And of course, I talked to a member of the Wayne State marching band a while ago and asked him if this was the most thrilling thing he'd ever done. He said, yes, we played for the president when he was here, but he said, this is more thrilling even than playing for the president of the United States. So that gives you an idea of the feeling. Yes, Carter.
Would you, this is Eli Moore.
The noise is so overpowering, I can't tell
what
who's talking.
What is that strange thing on your right hand there? Would you show that to us,
Is that your
please?
tiger glove, Moore?
Is that we haven't had a chance to see a paw close up. Would you show it to us?
Oh, one of the
Show
paws?
us your hand, yes.
Yes, someone put this on me a little bit ago, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be Michael Jackson or just an enthusiastic Tiger fan, because there is only one per hand. But you see these throughout the crowd here. You see signs saying Sparky for president, and this crowd is absolutely uncontained and unrestrained in its enthusiasm for this, what truly has to be one of the most remarkable, one of the most positive days in the recent history of this great city of Detroit. We're still waiting for the cars to arrive. I see some flashing police lights. We saw the very marvelous equestrian corps, the mounted police, just a few minutes ago. Looked as though they might be riding down to escort the players in as their cars arrive. But as yet, we have not gotten a glimpse of any of the players' cars, but it looks like, yes, it is. We see the first part of the parade now arriving over at the stage. And this crowd is going wild. Carmen, Eli?
You know, if you could pan back right, there are a few people that we really haven't had a chance to recognize so far that were standing up there. One of them was Bill LaJoy. There you see Ernie Harwell on the right, but if you go back to the right a little bit, I don't know if our camera really can hear us.
Right there, though, we see some of the council members.
You know, it's funny, I don't recognize the council members.
I covered the city county building enough, and it was Clyde Cleveland, Mary Ann Mahaffey, and Council President Irma Henderson who were sitting on the podium.
Pardon me, folks.
Now, those look like fans who were just waiting. There's the governor. You know, I think we should point out, too, here, Eli, that the enthusiasm of the crowd is preventing that, the parade route from, or the parade from actually making that turn. And
some of the people
so they're going to try and get around as soon as they can, and each will be let out of their cars and will assemble at Kennedy Square.
Boy, some city workers are going to be making some OT tonight, aren't they, after this thing?
Oh, it could be New Year's in Detroit for all we care.
Now, what is that? Is that toilet paper, Carmen?
That looks like a streamer. It looks like a streamer, and it's coming from some of the office buildings along the parade route.
Looks like the end zone at Michigan Stadium on a good Saturday afternoon.
You know, this is really a family affair, and just from the fans that we've heard from, a lot of families out taking part in this parade, a lot of school kids who were let out of school, a lot of dignitaries on hand, but mostly families have come down, and some probably haven't been downtown in many years, but they came down today to see their favorite heroes, the 1984 Tigers.
It's a family sport, you know. You play it when you're a kid, and you never lose interest in it, and that's why it's such a popular thing. It appeals to all ages, and really everybody's played it to some degree. Even you played softball back once upon a time, and you can relate to
Let me tell you, I was
very,
a
very
pitcher.
well.
I had a nice right-hand pitch. Oh, yeah.
You always had a very nice right hand, Carl. So it is crowded, and it's true. People, it seems like there isn't much movement there at all, and that's unfortunate if people have to wait longer than they planned on to get to hear some of the people they want to hear from speak.
I think the fans feel like they've waited long enough for this, and they want to shake the hands and get the autographs. They feel like this is probably the only chance or opportunity they'll get, and they're taking advantage of it right now. As you can see, they've descended on the cars with their favorite Tiger inside.
That's one of the real rewards of winning because it is so difficult. There are 26 teams in baseball, so by all rights, you should only win it 4 times in an entire century. So to see the Tigers do it even 16 years later is still beating the odds, though we do say in truth that we have waited so long for this thing to happen again.
I don't remember in '68 if there was a ticker tape parade, but
there was.
There was.
There was.
And I'm sure that the fans felt much like they do today.
I think, you know, over the years, the increase in coverage, more games on television, more media getting people closer into the players' lives, there are more fans, and I think the whole spirit behind it has grown in that sense too, strictly by, you know, just the progress of reporting and things like that over the years. So,
you know, there was some talk, Eli, and this is just, I'm sure you've probably heard it too, that Hernandez might not sign with the Tigers, or is there any truth to that?
You know, it's funny, you know, normally that would be one of the biggest stories you would ever have. Here in the middle of the World Series, a player popping off. I think if you would ask Willie about it right now, he would say that he shouldn't have done it that night. It was really a negative inserted into an otherwise very positive thing, and he does have another year of his contract left, so it isn't an immediate problem that has to be attended to. Willie did not look good by that, and I think that the fact that people didn't pursue it, I'm talking about reporters didn't pursue it and fans didn't talk about it that much. They really didn't want to think about it now.
Right.
Let's deal with winning and the present, and we'll worry about that later. So I think they will re-sign Willie Hernandez. If they laid out the kind of money they did for Darrell Evans as a player they really felt they needed, it's going to take an incredible offer to get rid of, you know, to see Willie leave.
You know, it's going to take incredible restraint on part of the fans and the police in this parade to get through this crowd, and so that each Tiger can get out of the car and get through the parade route. This crowd is enthusiastic, to say the least, and they're taking advantage of the close proximity of their heroes. A few people leaning out of the office buildings, and
watch it, folks.
we don't want any repeat of what we saw the other night, and no matter how small. We hope that the fans here will remain enthusiastic but orderly. So far, they seem to do that. They seem to have done it.
I
We
can't
hope it
imagine
continues.
what it's going to be like next year when this season starts. Can't imagine how many fans the Tigers might draw. They set a record, of course, this year with well over 2 million, drawing more than they did in 1968. Behind the horse is
Could you get a glimpse of that?
is another
Yeah, we
horse of a
could.
player there, Kurt Gibson, who, like I say, symbolized it all. Kurt, would you smile, please? Picture here, just a quick one.
We should,
A real
I
hero.
guess, point out that he's still single, one of the few Tigers,
Well,
Tiger bachelors who...
he has a girlfriend, though, and he's very serious.
Point that out for some of the other ladies.
But of course, Gibson really symbolizing the incredible personal turnaround. He turned around even more than the team did, because the Tigers were very good in 1983, but Gibson was not very good in 1983. And,
Attitudinal problem? Would you
a lot of problems. You know, the difficulty of understanding his role with the people. He did make a few mistakes, said a few things, and acted in ways that didn't endear him to people, and that's why people weren't so willing to put up with his progress. But a great turnaround he made, and it's almost incredible to see how people can feel 100% and 180 degrees differently about somebody from one year to the next. Hopefully he too can not rest on his laurels, but knowing Gibby, the competitor that he is, he should only get better. And it's his intensity, his fighting spirit, his killer instinct that really, really made a difference for this team this year. The Tigers, a team that spans the ages of very, very young to veteran ball players, but so many of the core of the team are right in their primes right now, like Gibson, 27, 28, Trammell, Whitaker, Lemon, all in that Parrish, all in that mid-range, and that's why they could be a dominant team for many years to come.
Well, if you've just joined us, this is Kennedy Square live this afternoon, where the Tigers and their fans and a host of dignitaries are on hand for this Tiger Victory Parade that we're showing you here on Channel 4, and they're waiting for the program to start. There's Sparky Anderson.
Bill LaJoy to the left of him. Bill LaJoy, kind of a quiet man in the background who gets as much credit as anybody, I think, for putting this team together. He's between the mayor and Sparky, but not recognizable by many fans. But he is the key to it all. And Jim Campbell, right there between the mayor and the governor, Jim Campbell, who's tried for so many years and put up with a lot of flack, believe me, in the late 70s when this thing was coming together. There's Doug Baer behind the podium, the blonde there, and that's Irma Henderson. Yes,
Council
I do recognize
President,
somebody.
and Marianne Mahaffey, also
Billy
a member of the
Consolo.
council. Okay, and that's almost a street level shot of that corner at Woodward and 4th Street, with the crowd waiting for the
And I think we're getting a
1984
little closer.
Tigers.
It seems like more of them are showing up, and maybe soon there's Marty Castillo and his very ready wife standing by. We'll go to a break and come back, maybe for the speeches in a few minutes.
All right. welcome back as our live coverage, Channel 4's live coverage of the Tiger Victory Parade continues. We hope we're closer to the program that is set to take place at Kennedy Square. As you can see, the parade is being halted by the enthusiastic crowds that turned out for the 1984 Tigers. And
we got to be getting closer. We certainly can't be getting farther away from the start.
I think the police are doing their best
Seems like a lot of the
hold
players
them back.
have finally made it there, but there are a few more cars to go, obviously.
28 cars in all that took part in this parade today, and it's going to take some time for them to descend on Kennedy Square.
I'd love to get some shots, maybe. Can we, of the podium there? Let me talk about some of my guys. I'm all pumped up to
We
praise them
recognize
all.
Marty Castillo and his wife. I guess she couldn't take part in this parade. She's, what, 9.5 months pregnant now, due any day. And
All right, let's have the band do a couple of choruses and take me out to the ball game, and everybody join in, all right?
Oh, that sounds like
Not
a great
bad
idea.
idea. Call it the 7th inning, okay?
Oh, that's Dick Purton, who is going to be the master of ceremonies for the program today. He's standing by, and hopefully the band will strike up a chorus and
Now,
take
Dick,
me out to
that's
the
right.
ballpark.
And now, Dick, it's your turn to fill some time. Here's
Here's
Gibby.
Kurt Gibson.
Come on, Dick, we hear you. People sing along. Not exactly a spontaneous start to
No, and you would
baseball's
think
favorite
with
song.
the number of people who have turned out today, we'd hear a glorious chorus of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
I would like to know how many Tiger hats were sold this
Oh,
summer.
are you kidding? I bought 2 myself.
Boy, if
I already had one.
I'd only known, Carmen. We could have retired. There's Doug Baker, by the way, right under Burton's right arm there, next to Doug Bear. Baker, another guy didn't get a chance to play in the
Oh, now
World
that's
Series.
a great way to watch the parade and not be hassled by the crowd. There's Kurt Gibson arriving on the stage at Kennedy Square.
Mr. John Grubb. John Grubb.
That's not John Grubb.
No, it looked either a group of fans or a cameraman.
There's Tom Brookins down the end of that line.
Yeah.
Juan Berenguer. And you see Baker again. And Monaghan in his inconspicuous green jacket.
Yeah, and Dick Burton at the microphone waiting to...
And here comes Dave Rosebaugh.
All right, Rosie. Wow, yes.
Each car is passing that corner and letting the Tigers out one by one.
Rookie Pitcher of the Year in 1977. Dave Roseman won 15 games. Hasn't won 15 since. And there's Tom Brookins over his shoulder. Tom, a Pennsylvania native who also has become adopted by Detroit.
Would you say we are a warm town and very hospitable when it comes to receiving out-of-towners?
Well, there are actually only two. Actually, Roseman and Gibson are the only 2 native-born Michigan.
What about
people.
Whitaker? He's not from
No, he was born in Brooklyn and then grew up in Martinsville, Virginia. And left there for the
Here
minor
is
leagues and made a
Dwight
quick
Lowry and
rise
Larry Herndon.
to the majors.
There's Larry Herndon. A little confetti
The
on top.
quiet man, Larry Herndon. Very, very well-liked, but a very private person. Somebody's trying
Ladies
to
and
interview
gentlemen,
him.
Howard Johnson.
That'd be an upset. Hojo, a new father. He had his daughter about
That's right. We've
2 or
had
3 months ago.
Yeah, 2 babies born to Tigers in the last week. To the Parishes, Ashley Parrish, to the Whitakers, Sarah Whitaker, and congratulations to both the Tiger families on their new additions. And Marty Castillo's wife, as you can see,
Right.
probably couldn't see that well, but she's still expecting and due any day.
Rupert Jones.
That's Rupert Jones.
Rupert Jones, who
Now
didn't have a job when the season started. Tell me this
Rupert
man doesn't
Jones.
feel like God has shone brightly on him. Out of work, he winds up with a job. He would have taken any job, and where does he wind up? With a world champion. He did a
Rusty Coates.
very, very good job as a backup player, as did this guy, a real spirited Tiger, you got to say. Very popular, outgoing character, really, Rusty Coons.
And there's a shot of the crowds. An estimated 500,000 people turned out for the Tiger Victory Parade
Rusty
today.
says he's just happy to be here.
Well, Rusty, I tell you, Rusty
Oh
was-
my goodness.
he was
Well,
like-
that's a Tiger hug if I've
That's
ever
right.
seen one. A few fans who have found their rightful place out there at Tiger Stadium.
acrobats.
Just to get a glimpse of these guys. I don't think Detroit has seen a parade like this.
And getting out of the
since
car,
68.
Aurelio Lopez.
Also known as Senior Smoke.
That's right. I tell you, this guy started pitching in Mexico about 20 years ago. And what a thing for him. You know, all over the world when they play baseball, there's no doubt that the World Series is still the thing. They recognize in Mexico and Japan and other places that their version of baseball can never match up to what we have in the major leagues in the U.S. And Aurelio, though he is not a Native American, is as proud to be a part of this as anybody. It was his dream as a youngster also, even though he didn't make it to the major leagues until 1978. To the Tigers in 1979, where he has enjoyed his best years. And here's Jack Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Won 19 games, won 20 games last year. He has won more games than any Tiger pitcher 6 straight years, believe it or not. He looked like he might win 40 games. This year had a lull in the middle of the season there. He came on the end to pitch like the Jack Morris of old. Won 2 games in the World Series, and his victory in Game 1 was credited by people all over baseball as one of the guttiest performances they can remember.
Now, who was that?
That was Sid Monge, who was on the active roster and then has become a batting practice pitcher in the meantime when they had to make room for Bill Scherer.
I'll tell you, that podium is starting to look like the crowds on the street. It's hard to tell them apart, except when you recognize the mayor of Detroit and also the governor of Michigan, Governor Blanchard. It's Dave Rosema at the top of your screen. I'm sorry.
That's
Jack Morris.
Great pitcher, Bill Scherer.
Bill Scherer is quite a character, I'll tell you that much.
Sparky Anderson looks like he's taking head count there, making sure everybody got there safely.
He likes puffing on that pipe.
Yeah.
Lance Parrish.
Talk about popular. Lance Parrish made some big plays in the World Series, throwing guys out. Let's throw out Alan Wiggins, throw out Willie Wilson.
He does have the baby.
Here's Arlene. Boy, she
can't be more than a week old, can she? Or just about that. And his son, his older son.
Yes, his son David.
Dan Petrie. Alan Trammell.
Alan Trammell, the native San Diegan, the only one on the team.
Well, that had to be a real conflict.
He had all his buddies in the stands out in San Diego. And in Game 1, when he doubled in Whitaker as the second man up in the game, we said, oh boy, here they go.
I guess we should mention, too, that the Tigers and their families turned out for this parade today. That's certainly going to make for a very large crowd on the podium.
Sparky and his mentor. Sparky loves this guy's fighting spirit.
Yeah. Well, Sparky said that's part of the game. I suppose he knows what he's talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may be missing a couple of Tigers. If so, we'll introduce them when they arrive. But right now, I'd like to introduce you to get our program started. Many of you have been waiting here for hours and hours. Here's the Honorable Mayor of the City of Detroit, Coleman Young. Mayor Young.
Thank you very much, Dick. This is a day for all the people of the city of Detroit. What we see here today are the real Tiger fans. And what we have here today is the greatest baseball team in the world. I know you want to hear from the players or from the representatives. First of all, I have keys to the city from all of you. To Sparky Anderson. Go for it. Tom Monaghan. Mr. Betzer. And last but not least, of course, Alan Trammell. Is he here? And I want to present to Alan Trammell, on behalf of the city, a proclamation to the world champion Detroit Tigers. We are naming this year, 1984, officially the year of the Tiger in Detroit. And Alan, to you and all your teammates, please accept my congratulations and congratulations to this whole city.
I don't think you can hear me because my voice is gone. I think just like a lot of yours. This is very special in my life, along with our ball players. This was a unique year. We're very proud, and thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. Here's the governor of the great state of Michigan, James Blanchard. Governor Blanchard.
Bless you, boys. Did you hear me? Bless you, boys. Now I'd like Sparky Anderson and Tom Monaghan and John Fetzer to come forward, please. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 9 million people of the great state of Michigan, we would like to declare this officially Detroit Tiger Week, and we thank you for sharing your dream with us. Thank you.
I like your glove, Mort. Nice glove. Nice glove.
Irma Henderson of the Detroit Common Council has a presentation of some flowers. Irma?
Sparky, come here. On behalf of a little lady over there who represents everybody over here, to you, for all of the Tigers that we love. Everybody loves them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the owner of the Detroit Tiger Baseball Club, Mr. Tom Monaghan.
Thank you. Thank you. These are the greatest baseball fans in the world. And you have a governor who's a great baseball fan. You have a mayor who's a great baseball fan. And the greatest baseball fan of all, the man who I'm responsible for being here, is Mr. John Fetzer, and I'm thankful very much to him, and thank you.
And now the only man to ever win the World Series in both the American and National Leagues. Here is Tiger manager Sparky Anderson.
Thank you so much. First of all, I don't think all of you yet realize just what kind of a good team you really have and the kind of people you have. They will not only win this year, they'll win again in '85. Thank you.
And now, once again, just to represent the Detroit Tigers, I know he can hardly talk, just a couple of words, once again, because it's on the program this way, Mr. Alan Trammell. Alan.
Nice speech. Those were some tough words coming from Sparky. I'm not thinking about 85 right now. I think all of us would just like to relax and celebrate. We've earned it this year. We've earned it. We are #1. Thank you. We're the best in 84. Thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thought you might enjoy if you heard a couple of words from Kirk Gibson. He's considered to say